from Kyiv. Alex, what's it like in the city tonight?
Hey, good to be here. So, what's it like in the city right now? Well, it's curfew, so it's pretty quiet. Basically, any conflict is this cyclical rotation of intensity and nightmare world, and then boredom and quiet and wondering what the next thing is. And we're currently in the latter.
Well, let me ask you about that any conflict line, because you covered a lot of the disturbances that arose in American cities after the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. So you were in Kenosha, Wisconsin, for example, which is what led to the Kyle Rittenhouse trial and his eventual acquittal. Now, when we looked on those images, those cities are ablaze. You've got fast food outlets going up in flames, precinct houses being destroyed, police precinct houses. How does Ukraine compare to those American cities you covered a year or two back?
That's apples and oranges. I mean, one, what you're talking about in Minneapolis and Kenosha were civil unrest, and that I would say that the main sources of danger come from small arms, people with guns who you don't really know. It's interesting you bring up Kenosha, because I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop, so to speak, in the U.S. during those events, because one thing that we have a real big issue with in America is mass shootings. And to this day, I'm pleasantly shocked that there wasn't a mass shooting during that summer. But yeah, I mean, you're on the. What's worse about this conflict is, I was also in Iraq and Syria, and there, you're always with the more professional, more advanced military. Here, the enemy has air power, you're not dealing with insurgents with Kalashnikovs and mortars. You're dealing with Russia, and it's apples and oranges, is what I would say.
Are you worried that it could turn really bloody? The Russians have form in this, and Mr. Putin has form in this, that he tiptoes around for a couple of days trying to be nice and not slaughtering a big bunch of civilians, and eventually his patience runs out. We had word today from Ukraine's second city that his patience may be running out. Are you worried about that?
I'm deeply worried about that, and I want to emphasize that I'm not a military man. I'm not sitting in the Pentagon or sitting in the Kremlin, privy to any critical information. But it seems that the Ukrainians are doing better than expected, and the Russians are doing worse than expected, and that's great from the point of view of this country defending itself. What I am very apprehensive about is that if Russia gets frustrated with the lack of progress, then they really only know how to do one thing. Grozny, Aleppo. I'm scared of that. Yes.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that.